Because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir.
I'm not sure if that's true because Trump has now seemingly somewhat sort of caved, and he has announced a 90-day pause on all of the tariffs, although he's hiking up the tariffs massively on China. This is what he tweeted out, or he posted on his Truth Social. He says, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I'm hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the United States of America to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. So the fact that he's raising the tariffs on China 125% show you that China's not backing down at all. They're not playing ball. They're in fact doing reciprocal tariffs. Trump is then escalating by going up to 125%. China has now re-escalated again, so they're just like upping the ante, and they went back to they're now at 85% on U.S. Products. So clearly their pressure was not on China. So he was losing against China. Now, when it comes to the other countries, if they were all begging for a deal, then why do this? He says, conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, as my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States, I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I love how he's, thank you for your attention to this matter, like all of us are employees of his corporation. So let's break this down a little bit more. Now, it could be true that they're all just kissing his ass and they're all begging, and he says, all right, since you're all begging me, then I'm going to go ahead and put a 90-day pause while we negotiate that. That's possible. But it's also possible that mom and pop shops are being completely crushed. And Trump was getting a lot of pressure from economists and other experts saying, you will kill American small mom and pop shops. Here's the example of what was going on. This is from, these are different postings from people. This person says, Chinese aluminum parts tariff 73% before Trump's latest increase. We have a small business and ordered $3,380 worth of aluminum parts from China. Parts entered USA on March 31st. DHL requires $2,483 for import duty, or they will send back the parts 5 days. When we asked for a bill, this is what DHL sent. So this is an American small business that's paying the tariff. That's not China paying the tariff. That's the small business being required to pay that $2,400 tariff. That's the issue. So how can a small business suddenly have this hike? They're barely making ends meet. How can they afford now a $2,500 bill? That's a problem. Here's another one. Any other small shops trying to figure out what to do? I've single-handedly created and ran my small business for almost 3 years. I sell bamboo clothing and bedding, and now with this tariff, I'll likely have to close. Does anyone have any American-based manufacturers? I'm devastated that all of my hard work is going to be pulled out from underneath. I just hit my 10,000 order last week. Small mom and pop shop going under because of the tariffs on bamboo clothing. Who makes bamboo clothing in the United States? Bamboo clothing and bedding. Where are you going to find that sort of manufacturer in the United States? You might say, well, you got to buy American made. Okay, but are they making it in America? And if they are, is it just direct to consumer? And so it wouldn't go to a middleman, like a retailer? Here's another one. Well, I didn't see this coming. I just got an email from one of our Chinese distributors saying they will no longer distribute their products in the U.S. with the reason offered as effectively, the U.S. has become too difficult of a market to continue selling to, and they make more money elsewhere. No one in the U.S. makes comparable products. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do when you cannot find the manufacturers here in the United States? We haven't set up the manufacturing. So these small mom and pop shops are the ones getting hurt. It's not the big it's not the big companies, the big corporations. This is COVID 2.0, guys. This is what happened during COVID. When all the small mom and pop shops got hit and everything consolidated to Amazon. I mean, that's what we're seeing again. So Amazon will be fine. Right? They've got their own goods that they slap their label. I mean, we'll see what happens with them. They'll probably just hike their prices on us, but they're not going to go under if they're going to have to pay some tariffs. They can afford the tariffs. Jeff Bezos can afford some tariffs, but the small mom and pop shop that's barely making ends meet, they're not getting rich. They cannot afford these tariffs. Here's another one. I'm wondering when everyone is planning on raising prices. Have you done it already, or are you waiting for the dust to settle, hopefully improve? I have a little breathing room in my direct prices, but my wholesale prices are now likely below cost. Definitely below cost if this extra 50% goes through. I'm priced to focus on direct. So here you've got the mom and pop shops are scrambling. They're the ones hurting the most. And so it's possible that all these countries are begging. It's also more likely, and look, would Trump give foreign countries a break because they're begging? Maybe, but I think he would be more likely to give a break because Americans are begging. Americans are saying this is going to kill small businesses. And the backbone of American economy, if you really want to have a strong American economy, make America great again, you have to have a very strong small business class. And that has dwindled away since the Fed, the creation of the Federal Reserve. We used to have it was like 90% of all of the businesses in the country were small business run. And then slowly through time, it became like 70%. I think after World War II, it was something like 50%. Then by the time before COVID hit, it was like 30% of businesses were small businesses. Now, I don't know where we're at. After tariffs, even less. You're looking at, if we get down to 10% of the businesses are small mom and pop shops, the American dream's dead. The whole point of the American dream is you could start your own business and you could get rich. You could provide for your family, or you could live a really solid, really good life, go on some vacations to Yellowstone and Disney twice a year or once a year or something like that. You could do that if you had your own small business. And now we don't have very many small businesses. We just have big corporate conglomerates, and people are suffering. So it's possible that Trump actually was getting a lot of begging from the American people. Trump then came out and said, be cool. Everything's going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. And then he says this, and this is something really important that should absolutely be done. Because if you're going to tariff all of us, tariff is a tax on the American people. As you see, the small business owner that says, look, I got this $2,500 bill on top of my $3,500 import. I purchased these goods for $3,500. Now I have to pay $2,500 tax. That's a tax on the American receiver of those goods. So we need tax reduction other places. If you want to play that game and you want to try to build American industry, you want to bring back manufacturing to American shore, great. I think that's a great idea. But you've got to cut the taxes somewhere else. I say get rid of the IRS. I say get rid of income tax altogether. Americans would cheer. If he got rid of income tax and said we're tariffing, small businesses would say, that's okay. It's a wash, so our prices could stay the same. And we will hopefully encourage now some American manufacturing, which is going to lower my prices even more. So I want to go ahead and start doing that. Maybe it would expand small businesses. Small businesses would start opening up their own manufacturing here in the United States, because rather than just purchasing bamboo clothing from China, they'd say, you know what, I can make them here in America. I can hire some people and some seamstresses, and we can make them and sell them, and we have industry. Great, let's do it. I'm all in. But we got to cut some income taxes. So Trump says it's imperative that Republicans in the House pass the tax cut bill now. Our country will boom. True, but I want more than that, Trump. I want to get rid of income tax. Our founding fathers would be rolling in their graves if they could see today the level of income tax we're being required to pay in this country. We are being robbed by our own government. 30% tax, 20, 30, 40%. Are you kidding me? That's outrageous. That's slave labor. We are working and giving our government, our money to the government. Shouldn't be doing that at all. So cut income tax, abolish the IRS. We don't even need it. Cut the income tax and keep the tariffs. That's fine. I think that would probably level out. Americans would be happy. A lot of Americans would be able to afford the price increase because we wouldn't have income tax on us. And again, like I said, small mom and pop shops would try to figure out ways to even reduce their overhead even more by bringing back American manufacturing. That's the win. So cut the income tax. And, cut the bullshit. That's what we want here. That's what we're wanting. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you could catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, by going to KimIversonShow.com. You'll catch it live. It is free to watch. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.